recent undemocratic takeovers of government across West Africa and its impacts on governance. ECOWAS heads of state government fashion out ways of restoring constitutional democracy across the subcontinent. Fallouts and gains from the just concluded COP28 summit in Dubai in focus. Plus, we bring you stories on security and more. Thank you very much for joining us on Panorama. I'm Ruth Aguela. Reports just reaching us says President Tinubu, Bola Tinubu, is in Maiduguri, Borno State capital. The president took off from the presidential wing of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport at about 10:35 a.m. this morning. President Tinubu is visiting the northeastern part of the country for the first time since assumption of office to attend the Nigerian Army Annual Conference as a special guest of honor. In a statement by the Director, Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Onyema Nwachukwu, the opening ceremony will feature address to troops of Joint Task Force Northeast, Operation Hadinkai, inspection of ongoing Nigerian Army Reference Hospital Maiduguri, and laying of the foundation stone of Headquarters 7th Division by the special guest of honor. Following the resolution of members of the Authority of Heads of States and Government, a three-man committee has been constituted to engage in further diplomacy on the restoration of constitutional order in the Republic of Niger, as well as address the security situation in Guinea-Bissau, as well as other transitional countries. This decision was contained in a communique delivered by the President of the ECOWAS Commission, Omar Taure, at the end of the 64th summit of the regional body. Garba Natala reports.
A committee has been constituted to ensure continued diplomacy with the National Council for the Safeguard of the Homeland in Niger and to remain determined for a smooth transition to democracy. The committee includes three heads of state, namely the presidents of Togo, Sierra Leone and Benin.
Based on the outcomes of the engagement by the Committee of Heads of State with the CNSP, the authority will progressively ease the sanctions imposed on Niger. Failure by the CNSP to comply with the outcomes of the engagement with the committee, ECOWAS shall maintain all sanctions, including the use of force, and will request African Union and all other partners to enforce the targeted sanctions on members of the CNSP and their associates.
Meanwhile, the body welcomes the national referendum in Mali to restore democracy in that country. However, the authority notes with concerns on some of the agreements reached.
The Transition Authority's reluctance to cooperate with ECOWAS in the implementation of transition programs and other activities of interest to the region. The authority deplores the unilateral decisions taken on the implementation of the transitional programs agreed with ECOWAS.
The meeting also agreed for President of Benin to visit Burkina Faso, Guinea and Mali to re-engage the three countries for inclusive implementation of the ECOWAS transition program. In Abuja, Muhammad Natala, NTA News.
In the related development, ECOWAS leaders have resolved to urgently review efforts to activate a standby force for counter-terrorism operations in areas infested by terrorist groups. Dr. Omar Taure, President of ECOWAS Commission, at the end of the 64th ordinary session of the Authority of Heads of State and Government of ECOWAS, said the leaders reiterated their commitment to the eradication of terrorism and other threats to peace, security and stability in the region. They also resolved to hold an extraordinary summit on unconstitutional changes of government aimed at promoting peace, security and democracy in the region. And to speak further on issues arising from the just concluded ECOWAS Heads of State Summit in Abuja, we have in the studio Dr. Adoyi Omale. He's an international affairs expert. Thank you very much for joining us, Dr. Omale.
Good afternoon, and I'm happy to be in your studio.
All right, now a recurrent issue of discourse before West African heads of state is the fragile security situation on the subcontinent. What do you think, are the issues fueling this insecurity?
Well, let me first commend ECOWAS for taking these very, very proactive measures. It shows that the ECOWAS leadership today is very proactive and it is moving towards resolving most of the conflict in the subcontinent. I believe that one of the major reasons why there's insecurity in West Africa and Africa generally is because of the what our president has said, the lack of good governance and also the undemocratic nature of many of the regimes in most of these countries. These two factors can be fingered as some of the causes of insecurity in the sub-region. And I am happy that ECOWAS is beginning to take very proactive steps to address these two very important components of democratic society.
All right, Mr. Omale, we've also witnessed coup and attempted coup, which have occurred in some parts of the sub-region, which people have attributed to lack of good governance. But the question is military takeover the solution to that?
Yes, military takeover is never a solution to issue of bad governance, because most times when the military take over, they even do worse than the civilian regimes that they accuse of corruption and other vices. So the military is not better. Therefore, military takeover of government should be condemned by all. However, that is not to say that we in Africa must begin to put mechanisms in place to ensure that our democracy put food on the table for the people. Our democracy leads to tangible dividends for the population of West Africa and Africa. That is the only antidote to this military intervention. However, having said that, there is no justification whatsoever for military to intervene in politics, and because the fundamental role of the military is to safeguard the sovereignty and the boundary of each and every sovereign nation. It is not to be in leadership position. They are not trained for leadership. They are trained to provide security, to provide protection for the people. So their coming into power is really an aberration. I am very, very impressed and happy the way the ECOWAS have taken very decisive steps, and I think it's the right direction, it's the right step in the right direction by giving them a vista of time to begin to carry out transition program that will lead to democratic governance in most of the countries that military has intervened.
Okay, on the delicate issue of Niger Republic, of course you saw the outcome of the 64th ordinary session of the regional body constituted a three-man committee to look at restoration of constitutional order in that regard. What would you advise the ECOWAS bloc as well as the military junta?
The military junta has no option than to cooperate with the ECOWAS at this point in time. A lot of persons have advised against wholesale military intervention in Niger, and this gives the opportunity to the junta to begin to put in place a program of transition so that they can exit. I think it's a win-win situation both for ECOWAS and for the military junta in Niger Republic. ECOWAS is giving a lifeline, and I think it is in the interest of the military junta in Niger to seize this opportunity and begin to put in place a strong transition that will usher in a democratically elected government in Niger. Anything outside this, the ECOWAS will have no option than to now carry out a wholesale military intervention, which nobody wants in Niger Republic. So I think the military junta and the ECOWAS should be applauded if they can reach a common ground and put in place a transition program that ECOWAS will monitor and that will usher in an enduring democracy in Niger Republic.
And just before I let you go, let's hear your thoughts on the lessons to be learned. Of course, you saw the military takeover in the sub-region was unplanned and unprepared for. What lessons, is that for African nations?
Yeah, the lesson is that the military are always there. They are always They are always at the background, watching events as they unfold. Politicians should always stick to the rules. There should be rule of law. There should also be good governance, just like our president has emphasized. Those are the major antidotes against military intervention. Once there's rule of law, when there is good governance, there's accountability, there's participation of the people in the democratic process, the electoral processes are free, fair, and credible, the military will have no excuse whatsoever to want to intervene in governance. So that is the lesson, that is the way to go. And I believe that going forward, with what we have seen in Liberia in the last few months, Africa or West Africa, we are making progress democratically.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Adoyi Omale. He's an international affairs expert. Thank you for your time on the news.
Thank you very much.
All right, we'll take a break. Please stay tuned. Welcome back. The Policy and Legal Advocacy Center says Nigeria electoral process and institutions responsible for election management need urgent reforms to increase citizens' confidence in the system. This formed part of the center's 2023 Human Rights Report. Timothy Yusuf reports.
2023 elections in the country might have come and gone, but with so many questions begging for answers regarding the Electoral Act, the Policy and Legal Advocacy Center believes that citizens' confidence in the electoral process needs to be unquestionable.
Government institutions need to be made more accountable and responsible, obeying established laws that safeguard human rights and civic space. It is also important to ensure that judicial officers who abuse their office or use same for pecuniary gains are held to account.
Meanwhile, the Committee for the Defense of Democracy at this media briefing is alerting the public to alleged repeated threats following the outcome of the November 11 election in Kogi State. The committee prayed relevant security agencies to leave no stone unturned in investigating and bringing perpetrators of electoral offences to book. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
The global community has been urged to deliver on their promises to fund the $100 billion climate financing as COP28 enters its final lap in Dubai. This was part of Nigeria's message at the summit, which also stressed that Africa's plight cannot be ignored. The message was delivered by Minister of Environment Balarabe Abbas Lawal. Charles Alpha reports.
Reechoing Nigeria's commitment to work with the global community to achieve the 1.5-degree climate target, Minister of State for Environment Isiaq Salako explained to leaders how the African continent is more vulnerable to climate change than any other, pointing out the inequality in the ways countries are impacted by biodiversity.
I am very pleased to announce that Nigeria is launching a ministerial alliance for nature finance alongside Liberia, Samoa, and Sierra Leone as part of the diversity-rich countries from the global south.
West Africa's lack of solution, he said, means that communities become poorer, food security jeopardized, and rural population forced to relocate, resulting in loss of livelihoods, security challenges, and sadly, a lot of time, loss of lives. The vision of Nigeria, he also explained, is to ensure that the world truly unites and respond as one. ECOWAS countries have reached a consensus to support the ambitious target of protecting 30% of land and ocean by 2030.
Nigeria, as a member of HAC, is mobilizing ECOWAS countries to launch a regional coordination process to map out our joint contribution to 30 by 30.
He believes countries must unite to ensure that calls for ambition for expansion of protected areas is matched with equal ambition. From Dubai, Charles Alpha, NTA News.
Nigerians have been encouraged not to entertain any outdoor fare, especially during this festive season, while plying the waterways, as everything has been put in place to ensure safety of lives and property in the maritime environment. The Commandant, Nigerian Navy ship, stated this while leading a naval team on a medical outreach to Bakassi local government area of Cross River State Oberheisent reports.
Free medical outreach is a step towards supplementing the effort of government in reaching out to the indigents in the society. It is in the light of these that the Nigerian Navy Calabar area is flagging up this medical rhapsody to the people of Unelton community, Day Spring Peninsula in Bakassi local government area of Cross River State. The team of medical experts from Navy Reference Hospital Calabar and other military officers led by Commandant NNS Victory, Commodore Vincent Barawi, attends to the health needs of the people.
It is part of the Nigerian Navy corporate civil responsibility as contained in the Chief of the Naval Staff Strategic Directives. We are here today to conduct this free medical outreach.
The visibly elated people could not hide their joy over the gesture of Nigerian Navy, but also appealed for security and other basic amenities from government.
We don't see this kind of thing before, but now we don't see Navy people welcome, come give us gifts, they give us medicine, they give us food.
They give me medicine, they treat me and treat my pikin. They look how my pikin there inside my belly. They give me medicine and give me everything and give me food. So I say, may God bless them.
Give me drugs, my pikin home and my home. They give me.
The medical rhapsody, which is a product of Nigerian Navy Calabar area, provide medical services which include blood pressure check, hepatitis B screening, malaria and HIV tests, immunization, eye check and provision of food and other materials to the people. In Calabar, Oberheisent, NTA News.
The Nigerian Navy has also taken delivery of 12 new Comstrack system Ovation unmanned aerial vehicles to enhance its air operations and effectively secure the nation's maritime domain. Chief of the Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala, who inducted the equipment at the Naval Air Base in Ojo, says it will increase the Navy's surveillance capabilities in fulfillment of the national security interest. Amaka Owo reports.
In recent time, recapitalization of naval assets, particularly the deployment of technology, has become a regular but strategic effort targeted at strengthening the nation's maritime security and defense capabilities. The introduction of these advanced unmanned aerial vehicles to its already existing air assets is a further demonstration of its commitment to the defense of the Nigerian maritime domain. Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala, represented, said the state-of-the-art equipment will assist in curtailing illegalities within the Nigerian Navy's area of responsibility, adding that 5 new helicopters will be acquired in the first quarter of 2024 to increase surveillance.
These drones will be integrated into our existing maritime domain awareness infrastructure, and pilots have been trained on it, and also engineers have also been trained on the maintenance.
In an era where innovation is a key driver of the global defense industry, acquisition of cutting-edge equipment is necessary to respond to any potential security threats. The UAVs are equipped with sensors, communication systems, and precision-guided capabilities.
These UAVs will play a crucial role in enhancing your naval capabilities and ensuring the safety and security of your waters.
This ceremony also witnessed the adoption of a revised local operating procedures and training order for the officers of the Naval Air Base towards ensuring safety and risks reduction in air operations. In Lagos, Amaka Owo, NTA News.
As days turned into weeks and months without their children in sight, parents of abducted prospective court members of Akwa Ibom State are seeking help for the safe return of their wards. The appeal is coming as the kidnappers allegedly make fresh demands. Clement Barikiu will tell us about that.
On August 17, 2023, national service beckoned, and these Nigerian youth obeyed the clarion call with excitement not knowing what lied ahead as they journeyed from Uyo to Sokoto. The unexpected struck, and for 4 months they have been in their abductors' den, leaving parents of adoptees in anguish, tears, and pains.
This thing don't be past the parents. As at present today, we don't give kidnappers 31 million naira. They never release those children for us. The only 2 people come out.
The little we can afford, we've sold, I think, do everything in order to bring those children. But all that we did was as if we are joking.
Let them come and assist me to get my daughter home. 10 million is not a small money.
The parents are appealing to security agencies to do the needful. In Uyo, Clement Barakui, NTA News.
Right, let's take sports update.
Enyimba International recorded a 2-1 win over Abia Warriors in a match the 13th encounter of the Nigeria Premier Football League played Sunday at the Enyimba Stadium. 1 goal in each half gave the People's Elephants the win in the Abia Derby. In other results, Remo Stars reclaimed the top spot in the league with a convincing 2-0 win.
Great ball into the box, at this time, Rebel Stars get the second.
In Benin City, Benjamin Tanimo's 4th-minute strike was all Bendel Insurance needed to see off Sunshine Stars 1-0. Gombe United beat Heartland 2-0, while Niger Tornadoes lost 2-3 at home to Plateau United. In the meantime, Tudunwada FC on Saturday emerged winners of the Nigeria Nationwide League 1 Super Cup after defeating Pamsirop 7-2 at the Buhari Stadium, Abuja. Tunduwada got an 18-seater bus for their victory.
We already put it in mind that we are coming here to take the cup home because the way we train and the way we play matches at home.
Meanwhile, April the 13th, 2024 has been chosen as the kickoff date for the NLO 2023-2024 season. NLO clubs agreed on the date during the annual general meeting in Abuja Saturday.
We are grateful to the executive committee of the country's apex football organ for giving NLO the conducive environment for football to flourish at the grassroots level.
In England, Manchester City got their first victory in a month as they recorded a 2-1 comeback win over Luton Town in the Premier League on Sunday. Everton handed Chelsea a 2-0 defeat, while Fulham followed up their thumping midweek 5-0 win over Nottingham Forest by thrashing West Ham United by the same margin. Back home, the organizing committee of the 2023 ECOWAS Abuja International Marathon have assured on delivering an international standard marathon come December the 16th.
It's ECOWAS' own way of supporting the community and then encouraging participation in sports.
The marathon is in 2 categories of half marathon and the 10-kilometer road race. With sports updates, Badi Adeleye, NTA News.
All right, that's Panorama. Thank you for your company. I'm Ruth Aguele. Bye.